Hey YouTube, it's Nick here. Welcome all of you to Saturday video. And as all suggested, it's really a new year coming up here, and I wanted to take this my tutorial to the next level. So I thought let's do some more creative, and let's take a look on the final result what we are going for. So this is the effect what we are going for. It's quite creative. It's not what I created, it's what I found on internet, and I really got inspired and wanted to do this. So I did it. I'm satisfied with that. That's the same effect what I saw on the internet. I also found it a tutorial on the YouTube, but that was for the Adobe Muse, and I don't think I use Adobe Muse. So I thought let's create with the raw-handed code. And I don't know all of you guys watching this video have used Adobe Muse or not, but it's the power of the code what we are going to check today. So this is the final effect what we are going for. So for this effect you will need some things. Here we are. What the things? Let me close that window. So here you're gonna need a file which is nature.mp4. It's a common any video file you need. I took the video from the library, which is, you can see the videos in the sample videos. I just converted it into MP4, and make sure you have that converted into MP4 or it won't work in the browser. And if you want to download this file, you can go in the link in the description and download that. You will be getting this file with the whole project section. Now, once you have that, you will also need and create an SVG file. Now, if you don't know SVG, we're just gonna take a look on now, but it just simply stands for scalable vector graphics. Now, for that, to create the SVG file, you will need a vector editing software. Simply, you can use Adobe Illustrator. That's what a vector editing software is. And so let's get right into the Illustrator. Now, I'm assuming you guys are basic, you just first time open the Illustrator, so I'm gonna go a bit slow. So let's create a new file, new. I'm gonna name it stencil. That's what I call it, the stencil effect. And I'm gonna make it by my screen resolution. You just have to make sure your width is more than the 1000 or 1300 pixels, because you want really wide width for the effect. And height, I took 768. That's what my screen resolution is. You guys can go with pure HD too. That's same matters. So here we are. Now let's select this rectangle tool. You can use shortcut M to get there. Now create the whole rectangle covering up your artboard and fill it with black. To do that, just go over here. You'll see the property. Just fill it with the black. You can close that, you don't need it. Now, once you fill it with the black, you need a text to cut out from this section. So to just type a text, I'm gonna type nature. That's what I used in the previous one. I'm gonna hit Control T while selecting that to see the properties of the text. I'm gonna write 130 pt size, and I'm gonna change this black to white. And I also downloaded a font. I didn't download it. I used from Typekit, and the font name is Stencil, STD bold. Now, once you did that, you just place it in the center somewhere up here. I find it. Yeah, that's the center. So now, once we had the text, we just have to subtract the text from our background. To do that, you just right click on your text while selecting it. You have to create the outlines. Now it's an editable segment. You just have to select your background layer and your text layer. See, and you have to do is just put the second part. You see, click in the second one here in your Pathfinder. If you don't find your Pathfinder up here, go to Window and Pathfinder. You will get that, and just click on the second one. And what it did was created a single layer, and having this nature as a transparent area. You can see through it, and that's it. You can do much more editing. I did in the previous example. I'm just gonna export it as an SVG. Now, good thing about an SVG is it's scalable. It doesn't pixelate at any screen resolution. I'm gonna name it as stencil.svg, and I'm gonna save that. Now here what you will come for in svg and svg 1.1, just a default, just click OK and you're good to go. So let's close the Illustrator. Now let's just jump in our text editor. I am using brackets, it's my personal reference. You guys can use any text editor. Now I'm gonna I'm gonna create an HTML5 document using shortcuts. That's the good use of brackets is. I'm gonna name it title as media. Sorry if I can spell it correctly. Now in the body, let's start our coding. So we're gonna use a div, create a div with ID container. Now it's a shortcut I'm using here because I'm using brackets and I have embed installed. If you have brackets, if you don't have embed installed, you are not able to do this. So sorry for that. So now let's create a video. Video with an ID bg. Now video is an HTML5 element. So you have to give it the source, and the source will be the file, and which will the nature.mp4. You have to apply that source type here. That's good to go. Now let's hook up our image that we created, the svg file in it. So create image using the source as media and stencil.svg. That's it. Now that's it for this. Now let's create our style tags, the CSS style and that. So now in the style tag, we're gonna use a reset property that we do in every video. And let's create a margin 0 and padding 0. Now we did that, good to go. Now let's link our container with an ID, which is an ID to hash container, and just assign our, I'm gonna give a width of 100%. I want to occupy the whole page width, and that will make it responsive too. And I'm gonna give a position relative and overflow hidden. Sorry, not auto, hidden. Yeah, that's fine enough. So now let's get in our video. I'm gonna type hash bg, which is the ID we give it to the video, and I'm gonna type some like position absolute. I'm gonna use minimum height, which will be the minimum it can be scaled. It won't go less than that. So I'm gonna use the minimum height and minimum width to 100%, and height to auto, and width to auto. So now let's hook up our CSS to the image. So I'm gonna write image, that's direct reference. You just have to use an ID. There's only a single image on the page, so it doesn't matter. So first of all, I'm gonna give a position to it. So position will be absolute. I'm gonna use top to 0 and left to 0. What is gonna stick to the top left corner. And I'm gonna use the minimum height 100% and minimum width 100%. Now I'm going to use the height to auto and width to 100%. So that's it. That's we finished the CSS for this for the image. Now we want a video to play as anyone opens the site. So we want it to autoplay. To do that, we will say in the video we just write autoplay. In autoplay, just write autoplay, and just write loop because we want our video to loop too. So just write it like that, and you're good to go. But before we prevent the browser, we have to do a bit of JavaScript. It's not necessary. You can use the height up here and I'm gonna use the height using JavaScript. So I'm just gonna write script, and inside the script I'm gonna create a function. And the function name will be height because that's what it is defining. Now I'm gonna create a variable h and take our window height dot inner height. Let me scroll it down, yeah. And we will create a variable e, and we're gonna link to that to container. So document dot get element by ID, and that will be container. So now we have to just change the height of that. To do that, we want e.style.height is equals to, and we want our h pixels to do that, which will be our height of the window, h plus I'm gonna write the unit. It's a dynamic, it's dynamically taking the data and the height, and it's gonna apply to that. Yeah, we think we are good to go. Once we finish that, we want to execute the function. So we're just gonna write window dot add event listener, and that's gonna execute the function. And the function, how we're gonna execute it, I'm gonna use the load on the page is loaded, execute that function. What it means, and which function, which is the height, what's the name of the function. Yeah, and I'm just gonna copy that once again, and I'm just gonna change it to resize. So anyone resize the browser, the height automatically updates of the container. Yeah, I think we're good to go. But before we take a look in the browser, one thing we have to do is select the body. In the body, we just apply the overflow to hidden, because we don't want any scrollable extra area on the page. So this is the final thing. Yeah, I think we are finished up here. Let's take a look in the browser, the final product, what we get. So here we are with the final effect. It's not something that you are restricted with. You can add a lot of creativity to this. I'm just wanted to show you how you can do that. It's really simple. Go on to the next level and tell me what you can do with it. If it was helpful, then give us a like and tell me how it was useful to you. And that's it, guys, for this video. Before I check out, just make sure you check out our social media links down there at the bottom. And yeah, that's it, guys. If you like this channel, please give us a subscribe and like to this video. It will be really helpful to us to grow. Happy New Year, guys.